we're going to a topic that I'm sure a lot of you are very passionate about, and I'm sure there's passionate opinions on all sides of the spectrum. So we're going to discuss like the crypto winter and how it is to build a startup. And with that, I want to welcome our two speakers that I'll have an on-stage conversation on stage. Please, guys, come join me here, all the way out from Singapore. And we have one. All right, thank you, Henry, for joining us. Thanks so much for coming and gracing us with your attendance here.
Thank you.
All right.
Testing.
Let's get right into it. So before we go and share what your startup is doing, Wui, do you want to say a few words about yourself?
All right. Okay. Hey, nice to meet everyone. My name is Wui. I'm based in Singapore, and I used to work at a ride-hailing company or a super app company called Grab for about 7 years. And before that, I was with Google, and before that, I was a quant at a bank, a bulge bracket bank.
We abandoned me as a colleague is what he says in very nice words, because we used to work together at Grab before he jumped ship and started with his brother Henry a startup. Do you want to go and introduce yourself as well?
All right, what's up, Romania? so yeah, Henry here. I'm basically helping to lead engineering and game development at Ethlas. So right after graduation, I started in the semicon industry, and then eventually went to e-commerce and landed in startup. Ever since I was in college, always wanted to build stuff, and yeah, it's just surreal that I'm here today.
All right. Do you want to tell the audience what Ethlas is doing, in a short mini pitch? What is it that you guys came up with, and what's the product that you guys are creating?
All right. Okay. In short, what we are is we call ourselves a layer 0 game platform, right? So what we are, in simple terms, is if you took a traditional Web 2 game or game studio or game platform, and you go, how do we accelerate the tokenization of that, right? And you'd see many companies do that, right? Axie Infinity, Star Atlas, etc., etc. But our background isn't in game studios. Our background is actually in demand-supply balancing in marketplaces, right? So we then ask ourselves the question, how would you add value to this ecosystem of games and tokens and crypto? And the answer is platform aggregation, right? Because the whole concept of DeFi or Web3 is in the interoperability between assets. And so the simple concept we as gamers, myself and Henry, thought about was, if you are playing a game and you're good at it, and you got bored of the game and you wanted to move to a different game, what happens today? What happens is you lose everything, right? All the progress, all the inventory, all the assets, and we just go, wouldn't it be cool if that ports? And that's really what Ethlas is trying to build as a platform.
All right, very exciting. I think you guys had an impeccable timing. You just started and raised a significant amount of money before the crypto winter hit. So how has it been for you guys since in the last few months with all the changes in crypto?
I don't know. Henry?
Well, I guess...
I would redirect that question too.
Well, I'll redirect back later. So yeah, it has been all right, to be honest, because I think, fundamentally speaking, right from the start when we were, right after we raised, we've already had the mindset to be as prudent as possible, right? Because you can never estimate the market, of course. So in terms of hiring, we've always wanted to hire the right blood. So we have this mental model of hiring in which we want to build a Spartan team, right? Not like 100, 200-man engineering team, but more of a executional team that is super lean, can move very fast, very agile, and can adapt very quickly. So I guess that mental model actually played to us, right? Especially during this period of uncertainty.
You guys have a crazy velocity, right? I'm lurking out some of your channels, and I see how many games have you launched by now?
So we've been launching many games and also taking down some, but by far we have at least 20 already. Still a couple more in the pipeline. We work with a lot of game studios to get them to actually many indie studios actually, some even based in Eastern Europe, in which they want to list their games. They want us to, as a platform, to promote their games, right? So yeah, we do have quite a lot of games in the pipeline coming up.
So one thing we do, fun fact, is we have this thing called one big launch a week, right? And this goes back to this fundamental philosophy around, just agile development, where you go, when you are that small, there's nothing you're building that is rocket science, that cannot be launched within a week, right? It can be something like a customer pleaser, it can be a new game, it can be a feature to enhance the foundation. But have one big launch a week, and you celebrate it, and you work iteratively to make it better. And we found that to be very useful in sort of building the right mindset, the right hunger, and more importantly, the right focus within the teams, right? Like nobody's there to write an academic paper for 6 months before customers see anything, right? So that's kind of like what we do around velocity.
So how many weeks do you plan in advance? Do you know what's coming in like 2-3 months, or do you know just what's coming next week?
At least 2 to 3 sprints. So we work on a agile framework. So each sprint for us is actually 1 week, not 2. So we measure feature deployments by the weeks.
All right, that is like pretty cool. Seems like you guys are really like able to move fast. So how has it changed for you, like building a product? I assume like what you guys wanted to build like in the like crypto boom time, when there was just basically like unlimited budgets and everything was going through the roof, the product was a little bit different from now. So how has building a crypto product changed over the last like 3-4 months?
Yeah, maybe I can take that.
Go for it.
All right, so I guess in terms of product strategy, right? Previously, all the focus, especially for native Web3 companies, is really all about emissions, right? How much APY can you give? It's never about sustainability. It's about, how much can you raise throughout the next few months, right? As we go through these trying times, of course, many things have changed, macroeconomy, and we have actually also started realizing this from the scratch, right? From fundamentally speaking, we have always wanted to build something that's sustainable, right? So in terms of product strategy, definitely things that we build are more towards lovable products that people would want to spend time, games that people would want to play just for the sake of fun, right? Not for the sake of earning. So in terms of strategy, it's a lot towards building beautiful products, products that are sustainable, low in emissions, even if we wanted to give, so we are still giving emissions, right, which makes us Web3 still, right? But in terms of emissions, we are also giving out other forms of virtual goods that is a sense of, gives a sense of intrinsic value for owners.
Very, very cool. So since there's a lot of like founders and entrepreneurs in the audience, like as they're thinking about like building something in the crypto space, what would be your advice to people considering now at the current time starting something in the crypto space? What would be your advice for those guys?
Okay.
Join Ethlas and don't do it. Is that what you're saying?
No, it reminds me of one of my favorite tweets that I saw recently, right? And it was this guy tweeting and going, hey guys, like there is this new thing called EBITDA. I don't know what it is. I think it's a new coin, right? And, and I found that funny because I'm just like the very concept of building sustainable companies, the very concept of building real companies have just been something that with flush VC money, most companies don't think about, right? So my advice is don't grow at all costs. Grow only if you can support it or can see a path towards at least revenue. Not profitability, but at least revenue, right? So that maybe is one advice. The second advice I give is be uncomfortably excited about Web3, right? What I mean by that is people are binary about new disruptive technologies, right? If you went back to like the 2000s, the 98 to 2000s, you had your people who just loved the internet, and you had the people who say, this is the most useless thing alive, right? And I draw a lot of analogies with that between Web3 and the internet disruption age, right? Where right now, we are in a crypto winter. And it's easy to dismiss it, or it's easy to shrug away all the fair criticism about it and say they are wrong, right? So what I would encourage people to do is Web3 is here to stay. The current interpretation of Web3 is not sustainable, but what is, right? And that's our mission as founders, right? That's our mission as entrepreneurs, to go discover what is the generation of Web3 disruption and tech and companies that will be what the FANGs are today for the internet age, right? And I am personally very excited about it. I don't think it's an easy journey. I don't think many people have the answer to that, but that's where the opportunity lies.
Yes, I believe in the saying from the Rothschilds, when there's blood on the street, there's money to be made. And in crypto, there's certainly a lot of blood on the street right now.
There is.
There should be, hopefully, long-term also a lot of money to be made.
And to be fair to crypto, I mean, there's blood on the streets everywhere, right? Equity markets, inflation. So I wouldn't sort of just beat on the crypto horse and just go, told you so. I'm just like, I don't know if there's anybody from Amazon here, but Amazon's down like 70%, right? So, and they are very profitable, and they are not crypto linked at all, right? So I think there's a readjustment of valuation. There's a readjustment of just capital flows, and I think that's healthy, but I don't think that that's a sign of doom. It's just a sign of recalibration.
Yeah, I would ask people here to do a show of hands who holds crypto, but I'm afraid that these people might get mugged later, so I don't want to have that on my conscience. But I suppose that you guys continue to be extremely bullish for the long-term outlook of crypto. So what is kind of like the timeline for the crypto resurgence that you guys like see for the next big wave? And what is the thing that you guys see, right? Like, because we've seen in many different waves of crypto, right? We've seen everything from first started very simple with Bitcoin, then went to Ethereum, then went a lot of smart contracts and NFTs. So every kind of wave has brought kind of new things. So what is the things that you're most bullish on for the next crypto cycle? Or is it too early to tell what's the next big things that are coming?
I have a prediction. Take it with a pinch of salt. We got into GameFi because we are bullish about GameFi, right? And what I think is potentially the next wave is what I consider sort of the sustainable marriage of DeFi with whatever the sector is, right? So in our choosing, it's games, right? And I think GameFi 1.0 was the axes, and that was proven to be unsustainable. But I believe that there is a version of it where you take the best of both worlds, right? In the case of games, just because that's the space we're in. Imagine games as they are today, fun, engaging, people are willing to pay for experiences. And you just go, there's an element of asset ownership, token interoperability, and liquidity, right? And you mash that together. And I don't think it takes a genius to go, that could be a better world than the world we are in today, right? And you could substitute games with just about anything, right? So, and I think this marriage in a sustainable way is what is going to bring forth the next wave of Web3 innovation.
All right. Anything, Henry, that you're particularly bullish about beyond GameFi, which you're both, of course, heavily invested into?
Well, I guess there's a couple, right? Namely, finance, right? Definitely, crypto is going to be a big game changer. Everything can be confirmed through a ledger and on the blockchain, right? Those zero costs, you don't have to pay the middleman and whatnot. That's definitely decentralized. Another thing that I'm quite bullish on, actually, I feel that the day when crypto starts getting more accepted is when the rewards are more tangible, right? So I'm talking about things like subscriptions, where your Gucci's or your big brands start going to crypto and they start adopting things like NFT subscriptions, right? That's when mass adoption starts, right? That's when people start buying all this because they know that owning a Starbucks NFT could give you $5 off every day, or could speed up your queuing every day, right? When you go to the outlet. So one is that, right? Tangible returns, right? I guess secondly is definitely in terms of rewards for gamers. Going back to gamers, right? Because gamers are actually a community we're core to. We actually want to give back to gamers in terms of rewards that they deserve, right? Of course, not hundreds or thousands of dollars, but at least points that they can accumulate across their hard work throughout different games and bring that back into a tangible way of redeeming it. Either it could be like a Jollibee voucher, right? Or a Grab voucher, or some sort of coupons where they can redeem and have something that's tangible in terms of rewards.
Yeah. No, I totally would be happy to own an NFT that gives me lifetime discounts at Starbucks or lifetime whiskey discounts. So if you if you do mint any of those, I'll be more than happy to be a beta customer.
Indeed. And cool story. There are actually a lot of Web2 brands that have approached us from a partnership angle, right? So for example, there is an animation studio, which I'm under NDA, so I can't name them. But they were going, hey, look, we are releasing a blockbuster summer animation, right? This is a Hollywood studio. And we want to engage our communities before that. And our communities, understandably, are, kids, right? Kids and teenagers. And they're like, you guys build games. We have a very adorable animation film. Can we mint NFTs? Can we give them out to our loyal supporters, our early fans? Can they play games with these characters, right? And I feel like Henry spoke about this. Web3 is not tangible to most people because people don't know how to think about it, right? It's not very physical in our world. But when you take it and marry it with something like an animation film, right? You can go bring your kid to go watch the film, and they can play a game, and they can own the NFT, and it's really theirs, right? It's not just some JPEG that everybody else has. I feel like that's when it really gets real, and that's when I think you start seeing this very important thing called utility, right? Real world utility. Right.
Yes, it's very interesting, right? Like you talked about this. It sounds like it reminds me so much of the .com times when you as a company just say, hey, I'm creating actually a product that has value. I'm actually creating a company that can create EBITDA, right? So it's so funny that we were living in a world that for a few years all of this was blanked out, and now we're going back to this more actually in the grand scheme of things more normal things.
It is cyclical. It is cyclical. And I was there when the .com crash happened, and I would say this, right? And I truly mean it. I've not been as excited about as disruptive a technology as Web3 is since the internet, right? I look at the internet, I look at all the good and the bad and the ugly, and certainly there's a lot of ugly, right? Don't get me wrong, right? But you look at it and you just go, look, from this chaos, we got some of the best things that modern day got, right? The internet, broadband, connectivity, and all the great companies that we now take for granted. And I'm just really optimistic that in 20 years' time, we'll look back at this and just go, wow, from that mess, that hot mess, we got the next generation of FANGs and BATs, right? So that's kind of my hope for, and as you can tell, I'm very hopeful for the future of tech.
Yeah, no, me also in general. I'm also an optimist. I mean, life is just too short to be a pessimist in general.
Indeed.
But it's going more into life philosophy than into crypto. So what I want to ask you folks as well, I think it's the first time that you're in the Romanian startup scene. So I'd love to ask and see what are your first impressions? What are things you'd love to do with entrepreneurs or other people here in the audience? I mean, how's it being in Romania? What would you love to have people reach out and chat about as you're a few days here?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I think the crowd here is super young. I like the energy, and yeah, it's a beautiful city for sure. So in terms of the possibility of things that we are actually interested to explore, right, are of course the talent pool, right? So we are actually expanding our engineering team. So I'm basically focusing on full stack as well as game development. So game development is also something that we are doubling down. We're actually focusing a lot in terms of Unity together with HTML5. So kind of like taking a hybrid approach towards games, right? We are trying to focus on lightning fast games that can run on different platforms. At the same time, we also want to focus on games that can go beyond the mid to high core tier. Your not really AAA games yet, but more of your Clash Royale type games. So that's something that we are actually on the lookout for, talents, essentially.
So if there's any cool game studios out of Cluj, you'd be happy to work with them?
Definitely, we are actually excited too.
I maybe add a plug. Ethlas as a game metaverse just has so many angles of collaboration, right? So I'll name a few. If you're a game studio and you're like, hey, look, I want to bring my game into the Web3 world, but I don't know how to deal with tokenomics. Happy to work with you guys on integration as a channel discovery. If you are a Web2 brand and you're just I want to globalize and I'd like to maybe mint my first NFT series, or maybe I want to figure out launching my own token, right? Or I just want to sort of just get to know this scene. Happy to chat, happy to collab. We're actually helping a couple of companies in Southeast Asia do that already. And if you are a company that goes, we're quite future-proof. We're kind of really thinking about blockchain and its utility, and we just maybe just want to chat or maybe just want to work together. We also have worked with a bunch of companies just as friends, or just sometimes they just engage our services, right? So I go, if you're interested in Web3 and it's a small world, just ping, right? Like if nothing else, it's a coffee chat.
Yeah, right now in the crypto world, we all need good friends. There's a lot of.
I think in life in general.
I think that's true. So, not talking about crypto, but I wanted to ask, like, so you've been like an executive, like an engineer, like a developer, many roles in companies. So how has your life changed becoming an entrepreneur? Because I'm sure that's what a lot of people here contemplate as well. I think you've been an entrepreneur before.
Yes.
So I think you have like corrupted your brother, I guess. So
Exactly, yes.
how is it for you to do like something with your brother, and then we can ask your brother how like life has changed for him.
You want to go for it?
No, go for it. Go for it.
Well, I guess for me, it has been actually quite normal for me to be to be sort of like hustling from the start, right? I guess
Yeah.
maybe
I mean-
for him it might be a little bit of a switch, right? But I think to be honest, has been hustling from the start, right? He has always been this person that's super motivated, always grinding. I mean, he has a wife, he has 3 kids and a dog. so every day, like when I go to his place to hack, right? So back then, this was back in the early July, right? Way before Ethlas was even founded. We always go on weekends. I always go over to his place. We hack at ideas, right? So Ethlas is definitely not like the final product that just came to mind, right? We definitely went through a lot of iterations, a lot of hacking, a lot of brainstorming, and yeah, like we was always there, being super motivated about what could be the next big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said most of it. I think what was great was, I'd say this: when you are building a founding team, find people you trust, right? Find people who has your back, and no matter how tough things get, like you're willing to sort it out, right? A little bit like a good marriage. I think Philip knows a bit about that. And it's important because some people just go, I'm a single founding team, or like I just want to get someone who has complementary skills. But they ignore the fact that when things get tough, like money doesn't solve it, right? Like how much equity stake you owe doesn't solve it, right? What solves it is there's somebody or a set of people who would stand by you and just go, look, we're in this together and we'll figure it out, right? So I think I've personally been very blessed with like a founding team that and co-founders that I trust, and it has eased the journey. The other thing, just as a bit of advice, if people are going, hey, look, I'm midlife, I have a lot to lose, I have mortgages, or you, like me, maybe have 3 kids and a dog, and the dog needs to be fed. And then I go with this simple philosophy, right? Which is, you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself, am I still passionate about my job, right? And if the answer is it's fading, or it's maybe yes, but it's starting to become a bit of a routine, then I'd say go find that thing you want to do that will invoke that passion. Maybe it's founding a company. Maybe it's joining an early stage company. Maybe it's just finding a different team in the same company. Right? I wouldn't necessarily sort of go, the answer to everything is go build your own company, right? But I certainly would say that there's a certain appeal of building your own company, and it comes with ups and downs. But if you strip away all the sort of vanity metrics and bells and whistles, the fundamentals I ask myself every morning is, am I still excited about this, right? And as long as you are, excellence, revenue, users, they follow, right? Like passion is number one. And it's also going to be the one that sees you through things like crypto winter, right? So yeah, that's kind of, and we take it with a pinch of salt, yeah, we've been at this for like all of 6 months, so.
And we doesn't only have like kids to feed and a dog, but also very understanding wife. Well, what I understood from back in the day, she asked me, the question is like, if you do this startup and you need to work your ass off, it means you can't go play poker with your friends anymore. Would you be okay with that? Right. And very much to my story, he has like chosen a startup over poker with his friends.
Little things in life, yeah.
Anyway, as we're coming to an end, since it's in crypto, obviously, You said that you would like play Crypto Santa Claus to all of us in the audience
that's
today.
right, that's right. So what we're going to do is, I've asked the organizers very kindly to maybe send out a form where I'd love for you guys to maybe drop your contact. Specifically, in the true crypto fashion, like all you need to drop is your MetaMask address. We from Ethlas would just really enjoyed the hospitality of Romania. We want to sort of airdrop some tokens to each and every one of you if you're interested. If you're not, for sure, just ignore it. But if you're just like, I'm new to crypto, or I am not new, but airdrop tokens is airdrop tokens, or you're just like, hey, look, haven't heard about MetaMask, but maybe this is the first time to try it, then feel free to fill out the form. We collect MetaMask address only because we want to send you tokens. If you want to leave an email address just to like chat, feel free. Otherwise, I respect everyone's privacy.
All right. And what I do challenge all of you, if you see those guys around, show them some Romanian hospitality, get them to drink some palinka or tsuika. I mean, that's at the end of the day, besides chatting crypto, is like about making friends and having a good Romanian drink.
It is true.
All right.
Shots of palinka.
And we and Henry are also going to be available straight after this on the Q&A stage, so you can have some more chats, ask them like your follow-up questions that you had. And with that, I want to thank both of you, me and Henry, so much for coming and visiting us here at Texavania.
Thanks for having us.
Likewise.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.